Hello and welcome to a brand new video. Today we are going to be reviewing the Buenos Aires e-Prix. Sorry, the video is the day after the e-Prix, as it was kind of a bit late for me. Kind of last night was a bit kind of hectic, as I live in the UK, so I thought I'd do it this morning, as why not. It was a pretty good race, has to be said. Certainly from motorsport standards, the fact that I've been kind of deprived from any sort of motorsport since November, it was certainly a welcome return to see some proper motorsport action at last. And certainly in the first part of the race, it was a really good e-Prix. You know, we had a lot of action, a lot of battling off the start. Obviously, Lucas di Grassi qualified on pole position for the Buenos Aires e-Prix, ahead of Jean-Eric Vergne, with Sebastian Buemi down in third position. During qualifying, the grip levels were very, very low. Lots of people making mistakes and crashing out of qualifying, including hometown hero Jose Maria Lopez. He was able to make his way up into 10th place by the end of the race, pulling off some pretty nice moves, especially at turn 7. So fair play to Jose. Obviously, bad luck for Sam Bird. Adam Carroll also had an electrical problem on the opening lap of the race, and then he got a penalty for speeding on the full course yellow. So there was a lot of drama in the beginning of the race. Rosenqvist also had his problem at the pit stop. Just gonna go through a bad day for people to start with, which was not good for him. You know, pretty much ending his chance of decent points. And he was looking pretty good. I think he could have got a top 5, but that he couldn't find first gear like Sam Bird had in Hong Kong, so that ended his chance of any decent points there. As far as the front's concerned, you know, we had some good battling at the start of the race, but once Buemi got the lead, you know, it was pretty much plain sailing from there. Certainly in the first half of the race, the second half, he looked a little bit more susceptible. He locked up a few times and made a couple of mistakes, but Jean-Eric just wasn't quite close enough to capitalise when he made those mistakes. And with Buemi having the fan boost, you know, he always had that in his back pocket as well, just in case he needed it. And behind, Jean-Eric Vergne finished a pretty comfortable P2 as well. It was a good weekend from Jean-Eric. You know, after the pace he showed in Marrakesh, he should have been on the podium there, and he was looking okay in Hong Kong as well. So I think he's got a pretty decent package, and he could well find himself in that kind of battle behind Buemi at the end of the season in terms of second and third in the championship. I'm sorry to put a blower on it at this point after only 3 rounds of the championship, but after 3 rounds, Buemi has won all of them. He's on 75 points, compared with Lucas di Grassi on 46 points. It is not exactly looking like it's going to be an enticing championship showdown like we've had the previous 2 seasons. But I hope I'm proven wrong, and I hope Formula E can deliver in terms of that end of season championship dynamic that's delivered so well the past 2 seasons by the time we get to Montreal. But then in third place, Lucas di Grassi, despite taking pole position, he dropped down in the first part of the race, but was able to recover, get his way past Nico Prost during the second stint of the e-Prix. Nico Prost himself, he finished 4th for the 3rd time. Wonder if he can get 4th places in Mexico City. He'll be hoping to get a podium there, I imagine. But just an interesting thing that the 2 Renault drivers have finished 1st and 4th in the first 3 races, respectively. So very consistent and well above everybody else. Then behind them, Nelson Piquet Jr. He bagged some good points in P5 then. Got the better of teammate Oliver Turvey, even though Turvey was looking like the sharper of the 2 in the first part of the race. He used a bit too much energy, had to pit earlier, and then had to go slow on his in lap and his out lap to try and compensate. So he was on kind of equal energy with everyone else, and then he was going slow at the end because he used more energy than everyone else, and yeah, he ultimately fell behind the two Dragon cars, and as well as Daniel Abt, who actually made his way up from 16th place up to P7 by the end of the race, splitting the two Dragons, which was a really good race actually from Dan. You know, after he crashed in quali, you know, he was looking pretty down, and you know, to make his way up in a Buemi like fashion. If you remember back for season 2 at Buenos Aires, Buemi went from 18th to 2nd. Not quite that, but you know, going from 16th to 7th is a good performance, and he should be pretty pleased with that, you know, and hopefully he can avoid these kind of mistakes and have a nice clean race in Mexico City. Oliver Turvey was 9th, and Jose Maria Lopez was 10th, as I've just mentioned. Although, notable shout out to Mitch Evans, despite the fact that he is classified 13th. You know, in my opinion, he should have scored a few points today. You know, he was running in 7th and 8th for the majority of the e-Prix. It was just the penalty under the full course yellow, and the fact that he was using a little bit too much energy. That Jaguar to me seems a little energy intensive, so that's something they've got to work on, and they can work on that in the season and still be competitive. Hopefully they can get some points, possibly in Mexico. Who knows, you know? But I'll pretty much guarantee that they will get points at some point in the season, showing that kind of pace. And now Mitch has got on top of the car. He's got a nice feeling within the team. Obviously, it was Adam doing the work in the first 2 e-Prix in Hong Kong or Marrakesh, but now Mitch he's understanding and he's showing his true potential and true colours. And obviously, a GP2 race winner. He has very proven credentials, and he was backed by Mark Webber for the majority of his career. Obviously, he hasn't been able to make the break into F1, but he's an FE. You know, this is a great series to prove his single seater credentials alongside with his WEC program. So this is absolutely fantastic stuff. You know, Jaguar making the step forward. You know, in the first 2 races they didn't look like they had the potential to score points. But the point of this is it's going to raise morale, and it's going to really help them going forward. You know, because they've now shown the pace that they can score points this season. And I'm sure they'll be using that going forward. And obviously, season 4 and 5 and beyond, they'll be more competitive. As you know, a point that I raised in the preview video that Jack Nichols raised, that Renault started to develop this powertrain in season 1. Jaguar started developing it about this time last year. Just imagine about a year's difference in development of a powertrain, and you're seeing that right now. Looking further down the order, you know, Da Costa just missing out on points. Franz was 14th, Heidfeld was 15th. He also got a penalty for not obeying the minimum pit stop time, which was a shame for him because he looked like that he could snap a point or two out of the race because he was quite punchy, but he had that penalty, so ultimately only finished down in 50. The disappointment of the race, I have to say, was Ma Qing-Cha. You know, he is in the same machinery as Jean-Eric Verne, and he only finished 16th. Yes, he crashed in qualifying, he was 19th, but with all the kind of the drama, the penalties, the action in front of him, and with the same machinery as Jean-Eric Verne, who finished 2nd and was challenging Buemi for the win, surely you'd expect him to get some points, but no. All the points from Tech Cheetah have come from Jean-Eric, so he needs to prove himself in Mexico. He needs to score points. He needs to get at least P7 in my eyes to really deserve that seat, because that is a good seat in Formula E right now, because they have the Renault powertrain, they're a customer team, and they're doing the work. Jean-Eric, I think, is about one of only a few drivers who is actually going to be able to challenge Buemi this season, along with Lucas Di Grassi, and potentially the Virgin guys if they can get themselves sorted. Nico Prost is second fiddle driver to Buemi, but that's kind of the reality of the situation. Sam Bird retired along with Michael Engel. Fastest lap went to Felix Rosenqvist, as I mentioned, but with that gear problem, he was always out of the running. So that's it. Now the championship. Let's move into the championship situation. Sebastian Buemi, as I mentioned, 75 points. Lucas Degretti on 46. Prost with his 3 fourth places is third on 36, ahead of Jean-Vern fourth on 22. Buemi has a humongous lead in the championship, right? This is Buemi domination. Although he did mention quite an important point, he needs to build up the points because he's going to be missing. He's certainly going to be missing New York, possibly Montreal, with WEC. So that's interesting. You know, could be kind of. Or is he not? You know, kind of a championship contender not actually being at the race is going to be a bit weird. But you know, but I would have liked someone else to win. Not gonna lie, you know, this is quite frankly, this is domination beyond what we saw in season 2. You know, people were like, oh, Renault were dominating last year, but no, this is like Mercedes Formula 1 style domination. This is like Mercedes start domination with having no offense Nico Prost, with having like clear number 1 and number 2 drivers. Obviously, most people saw Hamilton as the number 1. Sorry for making these F1 references, by the way. I know some people watching this might hate Formula 1, but I'll put them in it anyway, as this is kind of a motorsport channel. So yeah, most people saw Hamilton as the number 1, Rosberg the number 2, but as we saw last year, Rosberg deserved the championship. He beat him, so they were 2 number 1s. But here you don't quite have the same dynamic, so I'm just hoping for a bit more competition. So I desperately plea that someone can beat Buemi in Mexico. If he gets 4 in a row with only 12 races, it's going to be basically impossible, unless he has like loads of DNFs and misses. Well, he's missing 2 races. If he has like 3 DNFs on top of that, then possibly we might get a championship climax. But if not, it's going to be tricky because he's just got so much more pace than everyone else. You know, he needs to get a doping of bad luck really for this to unfold. And the issue with that is that the problem why they can't catch up, why Buemi is going to be so far ahead, and he's probably going to be so far ahead in Mexico as well, Monaco and Paris and so on, is because the powertrains are homologated for the season. Aero parts are spec. That keeps costs down, as Lucas Degretti said in the press conference, but it has a bad effect in that the competition can't catch up during the course of the season. Everyone's working on season 4 stuff now, testing that to do the best job possible to try and beat Renault for next season. But for this season, it might actually not produce a brilliant racing season, which is a bit of a shame. But that's kind of the way it goes. I say underdogs, kind of that are overperforming so far this year. I'm a Mahindra. If we look, Rosenqvist is 5th in the standing. Heidfeld is 7th. Guys who needs to kind of up their game is Virgin, with Bird only 6th, and a long way down. Jose Maria Lopez down in 16th position. Now if we jump to the teams, Edam's so far ahead. They've all got almost double the points of Abt, Schaeffler, Audi Sport. 111 Toro 60. Mahindra on 37. Next TV, followed by Cheetah, Virgin, Faraday, Andretti, Venturi are the last point scorers on 3 in 9th, and Jaguar haven't scored in 10th. So, just to kind of wrap this up, looking forward to Mexico. hopefully we will get a crack at e-Prix, and no offence to Boston Buemi fans, hopefully Buemi can have a dope in a bad luck so we can get this championship dynamic sort of coming on strong, you know. Although an interesting thing that Buemi want to correct in Mexico is he hasn't had a pole position so far in his 2016-17 season. See if you can do that in Mexico in 6 weeks' time on the 1st of April. Thank you very much for watching this video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. I'm out. Goodbye.